Hey there, Doodle Gang, Doodle here, and today I am revisiting my Nemesis problem video and doing a more fledged out discussion. I'm going to be talking about his power, his zombie tips and tricks, because at this point, Nemesis has become my main. Like, even though Huntress has been my main for so many years, Nemesis has definitely opened the doors for me and definitely has helped me through Dead by Daylight for sure. Just learning and adapting to a new killer that I feel way more comfortable with. And overall, Nemesis is just super fun. Like, just to the bottom line, super fun. And of course, I will be giving like a breakdown of Nemesis and some tips and tricks and just advice how to, adapt to him better. And hopefully this video does help you out, and if you do listen to the end, thank you very much. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, because I did have a draft of this video, and it was about a half an hour. So let's hope I hope I don't push it that far, because I had to like go back, because I rambled a little too much. Things were a little too spaced out all over the place, and I had to like redo it and like actually write myself a script, some notes, because I'm looking at my notes right now, and yeah. So let's get into it. Let's start talking about it. First thing I'm going to talk about is Nemesis's power and just give an overall like breakdown and discussion about it. Now, his power is very simple. It's basically you need to affect survivors, and even though it's definitely a little hard to do, it's very important to his gameplay. Now, Nemesis is definitely a high B, at least B tier killer for me, even though in my last video I said he was definitely a C. After you play him for a while and learn, he definitely pops up a bit. Like any other killer in Dead by Daylight, Nemesis, you just gotta learn. You gotta put hours into him, and yeah, if you don't put hours into him, you're just everyone's opinions change, you know. You could be a Nemesis that's only played for a few days, or a Nemesis that's played for weeks, and I'm the Nemesis that's played for weeks, and honestly, his power is okay. His power isn't the greatest, but it is definitely very, very important to how the match can go, because you need to get infections right away when you can, and if you don't get infections, it's really hard to do so. At the end of the day, you really just need to get to tier 2 so you can break pallets, because that's very key to the matches that you'll have. Because if you don't have that, it's going to be a very slow and tedious match, especially a little, frightening to you, because it's going to be super hard if you don't get to tier 2. And overall for tier 3, I could care less for tier 3, even though it does give the tentacle a little bit of length. I wish it did do something else. I don't know what that would be, but definitely something else to bump him up a little bit more. Because honestly, after I get tier 2, I feel more comfortable, because I don't really just strive for tier 3. So, of course, the breakdown is just get your infections in the beginning of the match when you can, at least just, even though it's a bit hard to do, you really need to work it like Huntress. You need to predict the survivor's movement, because the survivors can actually move into your tentacle when you whip it down. You don't have to hit them straight on, they can actually run into it. So take that to your advantage, because I didn't realize it could happen. So that's definitely some advice I will pass on to you, because it definitely helps when you mind game. And especially with his tentacle, Nemesis isn't all about just, striking when you're at a pallet or at a vaulted window, because survivors can actually avoid that by putting pallets down on you, or just, going straight forward, W gamers, or even crouching behind objects or windows. And you need to mind game. Nemesis is very important when you come to mind gaming. That's one of his things. You need to make them think that you're going to whip out that tentacle, but no, you're not. You can get a free hit if you mess with them, because you can tell if they're looking back, or if they do a little like window duke or something in that matter. It helps a lot. Nemesis is that type of killer that you gotta mind game. And even though mind gaming is pretty, it occurring a lot in Dead by Daylight, Nemesis is definitely one of those that you need to be keen on. You need to mind game, or you're gonna have a hard time, trust me. And if you can get that window fall, like, if you get the window tentacle or the pallet tentacle, go for it. I recommend not breaking pallets immediately, but if you have to, you gotta, because when survivors vault, it's like it's open opportunity for you. They're vulnerable. You can get tentacle no matter what. And I'm a little nitpicky, but I feel like zombies should like count towards the mutation rate because they're zombies, and like it's very rare for zombies to hit the survivor anyway, because the survivor gotta brush up against the zombies, which suck. But that's like a one little nitpicky thing I have, because the mutation rate's a little hard to get up. But again, tier 2 is the best you can get. Make sure you get that right away, and if you have to, use your zombies, but I'm going to talk about it a little later. I really don't recommend using your zombies because it's super important not to, get them out of the game, because it's valuable time that you're losing with the zombies patrolling and stuff like that. And I will talk about it further because the add-ons and the zombies are very important to talk about as well. Now this one I'm going to be combining together because it's super, super duper important. Zombies and add-ons. Now with the zombies, they are super important for Nemesis's gameplay. Trust me, they are. They do crowd control. You can definitely use them to your advantage when it comes to it. Because with the zombies, you really need to pay attention to them because they're really great. They'll spot survivors. They'll go in the direction where the survivor was, and you can track survivors down because survivors will panic when they see zombies. And, as long as they're not pallet stunning your zombies or flashlighting them, you should be totally fine with that. So paying attention to your zombies is really important for Nemesis, and as well with the add-ons, because overall, the zombies aren't really good on their own. They need something to help themselves out. And lucky for you, I have a list here, as I'm looking at it, of add-ons that are totally awesome to put on Nemesis. So, yeah, listen to me when I say it, because, Nemesis's add-ons are pretty bad. They're terrible, dude. I totally forgot, what half of them were because I just don't use them. And reading through them, it's so, so bad. And as someone who's been dedicating their time into playing Nemesis all the time, I know what I'm talking about, I know what I'm doing. So please, as I will read this list, I hope you would understand and maybe put them on yourself, because it's a little hard when you get used to Nemesis and when you need to, figure out what's the best for him. So don't worry, fam. I got you. And the first one, we're going from purple to, lore ones first. The ink ribbon. It considerably decreases zombie respawn time, moderately increases zombie movement speed, and when fire generators are repaired, any destroyed zombies respawn in an exit area. Now, I do use this one more because I, accidentally punch my zombies sometimes because the zombies will get in your way, and that's very unfortunate sometimes, but it definitely is super important about that 5 second, about the, time when the zombies, these, when zombies die and they respawn, it's very important, because they will actually respawn, near survivors, which I've noticed that, they'll respawn near you, or, where survivors could be, and I never really had any, issues with zombies respawning, far away or anything. Plus, with the exit gate, it's pretty useful, even though I haven't got any plays with that, because honestly, you kind of forget that part with the add-on is there, so that's definitely one I would use. And the next one is NEA Parasite. When receiving the contamination effect, a survivor suffers from oblivious status effect for 60 seconds. Now, when I tell you Nemesis is a pretty big and loud boy, I'm gonna tell you he is, because when Nemesis is quiet, when he's oblivious, obviously his terror radius goes away, his red light goes away, but his footsteps are pretty loud. But thankfully, half the time survivors just don't really pay attention to that. They really more pay attention to the red light and the terror radius. So if you're lucky, survivors would be, oblivious and not see that you're coming. Oh Lord, he coming, because he is big. And Nemesis, oh my god, he has a chunky hitbox, let me tell you. Just, as other killers, you can squeeze by places pretty easily, but Nemesis is definitely that type of killer that you gotta watch out for. And I'm very used to playing like shorter killers, so the height difference is kind of crazy as well. You gotta get used to, but overall, this one is a very good one, and I do recommend it. If it's not, if you're not going to be using zombie ones, that is one to definitely do. Do not do the other one. I cannot remember what the other one was. If you hit your zombies and you get undetectable, don't do that. It's not good. And you need your zombies. Don't use it. Just listen to me on that one. Don't use it. So the next one, admin wristband, considerably extends zombies' detection range, which, hear me out, don't go Doodle, that's stupid. It's not. Because, like I said, the zombies' normal kit, the normal base of, like, nothing added on them, they suck. They will not detect survivors. And you can get very awesome gameplay because it's really freaking far. Let me tell you, they will detect survivors behind buildings, like behind houses, like on Haddonfield. They can detect from that. I'm telling you, I have really good gameplay of that. And as well, you can find survivors 10 times easier and faster. So get the wristband, it's super good. You can also use the brown wristband as well, but it doesn't, like, it's only moderately, not considerably. So the wristbands are pretty good. I think that's it for this one. Kale's eyes moderately increase zombie movement speed. Now, I have not been using this one because I've been using the ink ribbon more because of the respawn time, but this one as well is just the same thing. It just, increases the zombies' movement speed, which is super important because the zombies can zoom across the map very easily when they detect survivors or they go for the noises. It's very self-explanatory. It's very, very good, especially for that. And that's basically all the add-ons I have to explain for this one, because again, Nemesis doesn't have good add-ons, so I hope that helps you out if you're looking for, add-ons for Nemesis. So, I think we can go to the next segment, which is basically my overall opinion on perk setups, basically. So, let's get to that. Now, I almost forgot to mention, thankfully I caught that, because God, it would be totally embarrassing to say that, oh, zombies get stuck, but don't explain about it. So, of course, zombies do get stuck in some spots. The more likely places they will get stuck would be RPD, Mother's Dwelling with the chapel. Right? Is that right? Chapel? You guys know what I'm talking about. Mother's Dwelling with the chapel. And other places occasionally, but it's most importantly RPD. Now, for RPD, they get stuck where some entrances are broken, like there's rubble, like right where the entrance is of where you're going. So let's say you're in the main area of RPD with like the statue and the office desk, not office desk, but like, the check-in desk and stuff like that, and you're standing near the exit, you're looking to the right of you, you have the outside, you go to the courtyard, you go to like in the office where you go upstairs and whatnot, and on the other side you have the Welcome Leon area. So the zombies more likely get stuck on the right side, and if your zombie gets stuck there, keep them there. Trust me, the zombies will hit the survivor every time they go through there, forcing them to take the other way around to get to the right side of the area. But other places, such as the weapons locker, they can as well get stuck in that area there when you enter it. I wouldn't really recommend keeping them there unless the gens are not repaired there, but you could keep them there if you want. And the other place, I believe, would be if they try to fall down a hole. I've had that happen before where they just get stuck like mid-falling, and that's super frustrating. But more than likely, if it's an RPD and they're like a really good place, especially the right side entrance where it's broken there, keep the zombie there. It helps you out at the end of the day. And even though it's a little bit of a stupid exploit of like, a stupid bug or like the AI messing up or whatever, Yeah, you know what? That's not your fault. That's the AI's fault. That's how the zombies are. So use that to your advantage, even though it's kind of a little cheesy. But at the end of the day, if you're going against toxic survivors, it's kind of like a well-deserved thing, you know? They have to force to get infected or forced to get injured or sometimes get knocked when you don't realize the zombie's there because they brush up against the zombie and it's just gonna hit you anyway. So, yeah, take the zombies getting stuck to your advantage. Even though sometimes it's probably going to be the worst spot ever, and it's honestly very rare for the zombies to get stuck, but on RPD it's more than likely, at least like once a time, because I've had a match where zombies have gotten stuck many times, but I definitely recommend it. As well with Black Swamp's ship, that's where zombies get stuck as well. I knew there was a third place, but anyway, take that as you will. Now let's actually get to the next segment. Thank you, Julie. So, you can play with any perks you want. It's up to you on how you want to do it because everyone has their own preferences. But for me, I'm more of an aura reading person because my eyesight isn't the greatest, so I kind of need help out. And as well, it's just very easy to mind game better and it just overall I'm blind as heck and I need that to see. So yeah. And plus you can catch survivors off guard very easily, especially with the setup I have now. Eruption, Lethal Pursuer, Nowhere to Hide, and I'm all ears. Now you're probably looking at me like, Doodle, that's so cringe. You have 3 aura reading perks and 1 gen regressing perk. Hey, I could be running Noted or like some other toxic perk like that. I'm just doing it for my sake because I have a hard time doing gens. And Eruption, if you play it right, you can do really good stuff with it, trust me. Even after all the nerfs Eruption has gotten, it's still a really good perk. Trust me, it is. Take my words, man. It's still really good, and I mean Scourge is good as well. But like, I'm just saying, Eruption is probably 10 times better in my opinion. It's just more opinion based on the perks section here, so you can play as you will. I just definitely recommend throwing on a few aura reading perks and doing at least 1 gen regression or something anything else that makes you comfortable. But with Nemesis, it's very important to know where those survivors are going so you can get the best tentacle strikes and like if you could bamboozle with your zombies or anything like that. So this was pretty self-explanatory, but of course it's up to you what you want to do and whatever you do for it. If you have any like builds that you use with Nemesis, if you do plan more or whatnot, let me know. I'd love to try more of them, but I'm very, very comfortable with the one I have now because I've just gotten so used to it. So, yippee! Let's get to the next one. Now, this section is more just going to be tips and like little trickies on how to like, play Nemesis a little better and like stuff I didn't realize you can do until, it just happened out of nowhere. So here's like a basic little list of things that I had no clue Nemesis could do and like, other stuff just to help you out. First of all, tentacles can go over obstacles. More importantly, like how like the vaulting point is, it can go over, basic, walls and jungle gems, like how you loop and stuff like that. It's pretty simple, and especially with a little bit of higher elevated places, like a little slope or something, like if you're trying to hit up like I'm trying to think it out in my head. If you're up at like one of the hills, you can actually get your tentacle up there and smack a survivor. But it's not like, don't make it too high, but like at least enough that you can actually hit it. Because I didn't realize you can actually hit over stuff. I mean, I did know, but not like certain stuff. Because as well as like if you're playing on Haddonfield, you can hit over car hoods. I'm telling you, you can. It's very easy to do so, and it catches survivors off guard. So, and especially with Haddonfield, it has very terrible loops for killers, especially someone really big as Nemesis. So that is really helpful advice, and I hope it does help you out a little bit as well. And again, survivors can run into the tentacles pretty easily, so mind game that as you will. Because I didn't realize they could do that, because I thought you had to hit them straight on, but nope. They can run into your tentacle. It's pretty easy on that one. Try to mind game with your zombies, because if the survivor doesn't really notice the zombie at first, they will run into them, trust me. You can easily see your zombie come up with the way Aurora coming up into you, and you can probably hear them and stuff like that, so use that to your advantage. If the zombie is near, try to lead the survivor over to the zombie, because it works. It does wonders, let me tell you. Even though it's very unfortunate that the survivor needs to actually brush against the zombie to get a hit, it's still good. Now this one is a little bit silly, but name your zombies. I'm just telling you, it just makes it 10 times better. I have named my zombies Francis and Julie, and they're like my kids to me. I'm just saying. So give them a little personality. Praise your zombies for me, and sometimes you do have to discipline them, but it's okay. They're good babies after all. Alright, we're at the end of the video now, and this is probably like the last one. My overall opinion on Nemesis, and like what would I put him in, and how his power is, crap like that. Again, as I said in the beginning of the video, I did put Nemesis at a C, but after playing him for a while, he is definitely a high B for me. Nemesis is definitely a 50-50 killer. It really depends on how your zombies are going to be that match, and if you're going to get that mutation rate up, and it's just how the mood is, if you're going to be with toxic survivors or not. It's all scenario based. Just one thing could slip and the whole match could be ruined, or the whole match could be freaking great. And that's kind of what I love about Nemesis. You just need to prepare for the worst or prepare for the best. You're gonna get awesome plays, you're gonna get terrible plays. Your zombies are gonna like carry you the whole game. The zombies are not gonna carry you the whole game. And that's why I love him. He's really awesome, and I have grown very attached to the zombies. Like, they're my children now, and I just love them to death. They're awesome, and they're definitely very unique for Dead by Daylight, and it's probably just my opinion, but Nemesis is definitely better than Wesker for being, the only two Resident Evil killers. Wesker is definitely a little bit more challenging, but Nemesis is just way more fun. I love Wesker, but holy cow, he is just super hard to play for me, and he's not weak, but you just gotta really work on him more. It's like I said, you gotta put more hours into the killer, and it's just how you play it, and it's how many hours you put into it. And Nemesis is one of those characters you gotta put your time into, and you gotta learn, because there was a lot of stuff I learned while playing him. And if you're looking for a fun killer to play, to laugh your butt off, or just, just have a good time, I recommend playing Nemesis. He's just super fun. I cannot, over-explain. I cannot express how fun he really is. And for me, there's not, a whole lot of fun killers to play on Dead by Daylight. Probably the only other ones I can really say is, Huntress and Bing Bong, and God, Dredge is really fun. Demogorgon's super fun. There's some killers, but there's a lot that I just despise playing. Even though I have almost everybody, it's when it's a good killer, when you have so much fun with them. And Nemesis is very unique to Dead by Daylight. The zombies are super unique, and really the only AI counterparts of Dead by Daylight, which is pretty insane. And I do hope in the future we get more of that, but I don't know how that would be. Because for a while we've only gotten really, the knights. I mean, the knights could count as well, because they're actually people as well, so we can consider them both together. But the last few have just been, camera-based killers, if you know what I mean, with Skull Merchant's drones and the Singularity's little pods. But obviously, I'm not complaining about Singularity one bit. Singularity's pretty awesome, and I'm super excited for the drop of the new chapter, which is going to be in a few days, and I'm so excited for it. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a new video on that, so let's go, gamers. So, yeah, I think this is the end of this one. I do hope me explaining it a little bit more better than my final draft helped you a lot, and I honestly did hope this really helped, because I try to like put together all my experience for Nemesis and try to give you like the straight on point, like, yeah, this is gonna happen, this is what it is. But Nemesis is a pretty great killer, but he is definitely RNG based because of the zombies. So take that as you will, Goober. I hope you enjoyed, and if you want me to do more breakdowns on killers, I would love to. Or maybe discuss some other stuff, because I would love to do a video on why Demogorgon's the most balanced, or, why, like, some killers are very underrated or something like that, because Nemesis is definitely in that category. He is very underrated. It's very rare to see him, and it really sucks because he's just super fun, dude. I don't know. It's kind of crazy how rare he is when he's just super fun. And I could probably understand that due to his zombies and how nitpicky his gameplay is, because you really have to be spot on with his gameplay. That's a little bit of a downfall for Nemesis, but I love him to death. He's pretty awesome. The zombies are amazing, and it's such a great touch for him. It brings a lot of more personality into the game, and I've had a lot more fun with it. Fun is just the big word for this one. We've had our moments. We've had our cussing out moments with the zombies. We had our praising moments. They're just big babies, and it really like makes you glow and like laugh your ass off when the zombies get it down. When you get like a really cool play, it's just, I don't know what else to say for it. Just try out Nemesis for me, or at least get back to playing him, because I want to see more Nemis out there, because I always have a fun time playing against Nemesis. Like, drop Wesker for a hot second. Go play the OG boy. Go play the best boy. Because he's just definitely one of my favorites. So, thank you for tuning in on this rant discussion with the Doodles, and I hope you have a fantastic day in the fog, and I'll see you in the next trial whenever that will be. I still have to play Oni. I suck at Oni, but we're getting there. I'll see you, Goops, on the next one.